Welcome back to another episode of the Viking Spotlight, where we shine a spotlight on Limerick students and staff members. So today I am here with two seniors on Aletheia. So Aletheia is a publication that really, you guys share a lot of taboo topics, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people send in anonymous things on a different topic each month, and they put that together into a really powerful publication. So Zara and Arushi, how long have you guys been on the Aletheia staff for?
Well, I started in sophomore year, so this is my third year being on the staff.
I started in my junior year, so this would be my second year.
Nice. And so why did you guys decide to join Aletheia?
Well, for me, I was at a really rough time in my life, and I just needed a way to express myself. And I saw this publication. I'm like, hey, if I'm able to do this, I want to help other students do the same thing. And it really helped me in what I was going through, and I just wanted to be able to do that for other people as well. Yeah.
My reason isn't quite as deep. I was a super excited freshman. I wanted to join all the clubs, and I was reading Aletheia throughout freshman year. I thought it was really interesting, and I was like, they have applications open. I should just go for it, see what it's like to be in that whole process.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just kind of fell in love with it.
So what about Aletheia do you think really inspires you?
I think for me, it's just the concept of it, because a lot of schools don't have anything like that, and everyone's aware of the stress and competitiveness, but there are not really many clubs on campus or really anything that that addresses this issue. And I feel like Aletheia is really special in that way, because that's our main goal. And yeah, I just think that it's really unique. So.
Yeah, I think adding on to Zara, I think Limbrook definitely has that stereotype of being, we're all just kind of robots. We just do academic work. We only think about grades. I think that stereotype is really propagated, starting from you're a freshman and all the way up until you're a senior. So it just reading those stories about people, you're reminded the people who you're with at school are real people. They have real emotions. They have problems that they need to talk about. And I think the first step to solving a problem is obviously becoming aware of it. So I think Aletheia really inspires us to raise awareness about these problems and encourages people to start talking about them.
That's awesome. So what's your favorite part about being an Aletheia staff member?
I think for me, it's just how close we all are, because it is a pretty small group. But I love the fact that we're able to, share things about ourselves that we might not be comfortable sharing with other people. And we all get along really well. And, when we want to be really productive. And, we definitely have some meetings where we scoop around, but that's also really fun. And I like how we can, be both. And we're all really, motivated and passionate about this thing, and it's just a great group of people. That's my favorite part. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah, so we have these things called read aloud meetings, where we basically go through all the submissions and read them aloud to each other with a professional. And I think even though going into it we might not know each other, just in those discussions we really dig deep and get to know some pretty cool things about each other, and really get their perspectives on interesting topics. So just being part of that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So you talked about meetings. Can you talk a little bit about the time commitment of being on Aletheia?
So usually it's every other Sunday from 6:45 to 9. Those are our meeting dates. And at the beginning of the year, we have a set schedule or a calendar, when the meetings are. We try to make sure that everyone can commit to those days.
Okay.
And if not, we'll try to rearrange it. But most of the work is actually done outside of the actual meetings, because we assign action items or tasks for each of us to do, since we all have different roles. And then we, when we have time, we'll come together and we'll discuss what we need to do, the next steps forward. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
And so what has being part of Aletheia taught you? What are some skills that you might take with you even when you graduate?
I think honestly it's taught me to be really open-minded, because like I said before, when you come into Limbrook, I would say that you are, very much riddled with those stereotypes of people, they're all they're all super hardworking, they're all just care about grades. But then when you read these things, you really realize that people have different perspectives, they have different stories that you really need to be aware of. And I think it just it teaches you to look at things with an open mind, and to really accept what you see and hear, with an open mind. Yeah.
Yeah. It also taught me to not really judge people, don't judge a book by the cover. That concept has really been emphasized during my time in Aletheia, because you know, we see these people every day, and although it's anonymous, we don't know who's writing it. Like,
Yeah.
reading that and saying, like, you know what, like, that's what they feel, and, like, that's so real. And I would never have, like, guessed that anybody would write something like that, or, like, that were even feeling that, you know? But it just kind of, like, opens it up, and that kind of transfers to, like, the way I want to think in the future and have a more open mind.
Wow. Yeah, because, like, anyone walking by you could have been someone who wrote
Mhm,
that. So
exactly.
yeah.
So it just changes your whole perspective. You're like, wait, you could have been that person, and, like, I don't want to, you know.
Wow. Yeah. Do you guys have a favorite memory from being on Aletheia?
I think for me, it was the very first meeting of, or at least when I first joined, which was my junior year, because we all basically like started to get to know each other, and we had this thing at someone's house. We like roasted marshmallows, and we like made s'mores, and it was like we're all around the fire, and it was at night, and we were all just like, you know, starting to talk about ideas and like getting to know each other, and like just really like starting that bond that we have. It was starting to form, and yeah, I just really enjoyed that because that's like where it all started.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I think for me, mine was probably in sophomore year. I was, I think, the only sophomore in the staff at that time. I think we had one other, but she had dropped out. So it was just me and a bunch of upperclassmen, and I was like super intimidated. I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to any of these people before. I'm like so like out of place. But they were just, and we had this read aloud. And, you know, they just opened, like, they accepted me with open arms, and, like, everything I said they valued, and then I really got to know them, and through that, I think I really learned to admire, like, all these upperclassmen, and, you know, even though I'd only known them for, like, a couple of weeks, I, like, was so sad that they would be leaving because a lot of them were seniors. But yeah, just, you know, just that connection that I was able to make with people over just, like, one meeting, it was really cool.
Wow. And what's, like, a challenge that you overcame while being a member of Aletheia?
Well, I think last year we had a really big issue with like communication and also publicity, because like Aletheia is not really a well-known publication. Like I see a lot of my friends are telling me like, wait, is that like Vertigo, or is it like, what is it, you know, like do you guys write for it and stuff? So that was really a big issue last year, but this year we're actually like really productive in terms of like getting new ideas out, and you know, really increasing like our image in the school, and we have a lot of new ideas coming out, so look out for that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same thing, just like, you know, not very many people knowing it and us trying to, like, you know, try different things. So just, I think we've really overcome that as a team, you know, thinking of new ideas, figuring out ways that we can hopefully, you know, bring up our image in the school.
And one last question. What would you tell someone, like maybe a prospective staff member, what would you tell them?
Definitely join. It is worth it, and it'll change you in a really good way, and it'll give you all these life lessons that you will carry in the future, and you will be thankful that you did it.
Yeah, I don't really know what to follow up on that. I mean, it's a great publication. You learn a lot. You meet really great people, and yeah, if you want to meet a tight-knit group. That was so bad. A tight-knit group of people who will accept you and everything that you say and have to say, then yeah.
Yeah, and just to recap, Aletheia is one of those unique publications where you don't necessarily write for it, right? Instead, you kind of comb through the submissions, right? And applications are
open,
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Please apply.
We have a really fun interview process.
Yeah, it's honestly, one of the most chill interviews ever.
It's super fun.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for watching, and make sure to check out our other videos about staff members from the Epic, Valhalla, and Vertigo. Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you.